All right, everybody. So just a reminder, wave at the film, we're on TV today. Let me take roll real quick and then we'll get going here.
Like right up in our front and center.
We're on TikTok live. Oh,
No, we're being videos.
live.
For her.
Alright, let's not play this. Alright. Alright, telephones down, everybody. Oh, wait, please. So that you will not be tempted during our PowerPoint. So what we're going to do today is start our new unit. It's on distribution. I'm going to show a... We ready? Yeah. Okay. We're going to watch a quick YouTube video just to give you an overview. Then I have a short amount of PowerPoint notes today, and then we'll follow up with a crossword puzzle. Then we're going to finish up the PowerPoint tomorrow, and then we're going to start the Amazing Race, and I'll show you a clip of the Amazing Race TV show so you'll know what we're doing. In the past, the kids have enjoyed it because it's kind of a fun competition, okay? So let me first start off with the video. All right, focus up here. Telephones down, or I'll start collecting.
In this video, you are going to learn what are channels of distribution. Let's start the video. A distribution channel is a chain of intermediaries that facilitates product delivery from the producer to the end consumer and transfers payments from the buyer to the producer. In other words, it is the route through which a product travels from the production end to the point of consumption or the end customer. Distribution channels can be short or long, and depend on the number of intermediaries required to deliver a product or service. Using a reliable distribution path assures manufacturers that their products and services will reach consumers easily. Distribution channels often include wholesalers, distributors, retailers, and online stores. Direct and indirect distribution. Distribution channels are broken into two different forms, direct and indirect. A direct channel allows manufacturers or producers to directly deal with customers without having any middlemen involved. Manufacturers of expensive goods and items that are perishable, such as bakers, meat and milk producers, and jewelers, typically use the direct form of distribution. On the other hand, in indirect channels, products travel from producers through different intermediaries like wholesalers, retailers, and distributors until reaching the consumers. Indirect channels are typical for goods that are sold in traditional brick and mortar stores. How to choose the right distribution channel. All distribution channels cannot work for all products, so it's important for companies to choose the right one. The choice of a distribution channel should align with the company's overall mission and strategic vision, including its sales goals. Companies should consider how quickly it wants their product to reach the buyer. Certain products are best served by a direct distribution channel such as meat or produce, while others may benefit from an indirect channel. If a company chooses multiple distribution channels, such as selling products online and through a retailer, both channels should not conflict with one another. Companies should strategize so one channel doesn't overpower the other. Let's discuss types of distribution channels with example. There are three main types of distribution channels. Each type includes some sort of combination of manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, and end customer. The first type includes all 4 channels, and it's the longest. A good example of this would be the alcoholic beverage industry, as manufacturers usually sell their products to a wholesaler, who in turn sells to a retail store. The second type eliminates the wholesalers and goes straight to the retailer. Car dealerships are a good example of this type of channel. Dealerships will typically buy new cars straight from the manufacturer and then sell them directly to the paying customer. The third and final type goes straight from the manufacturer to the paying customer. One of the best examples of this is Apple. You can buy Apple products directly from their retail stores. If you want to read
Alright, so that's an overview of all the things we're going to be learning about in this unit. So just so you guys know, the cost of distribution is like the 3rd largest cost for most companies as far as how much it costs for them to get their product made and into the consumer. Thank you. So that's why we're going to study it. Let me pass out the guided notes and then we'll get to it. And obviously, what company do you think has the biggest impact on distribution in the last? Amazon. They changed the entire customer's perception of what good. All right, this is so we can get all the vocabulary down on this unit so that we understand each other. Does everybody have a pencil? All right, so when we've been talking this semester about the 4 P's, what do you think distribution is? Which P do you think it is? Production? No. What are the 4 P's? Product, price, promotion. So which one do you think it is? Production. Production's not one of them. It's place. Alright, so product is obviously what we just finished doing, is like creating the product. Pricing we haven't gone over yet, but that's how you go about your strategy for pricing, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that we'll learn on that next. Place is about getting the product to the customer in the most convenient and effective method that the customer is willing and wanting to buy. So that goes from what has to happen to acquiring or producing, making the product, all the way to getting the product into the hands of the consumer. Right, promotion we haven't done, we'll do that probably after spring break. And then what else can the 4 P's be called? Marketing next. All right.
So it's place.
It's place. Distribution is about place. And we're gonna go from its creation to, eventually we're gonna get to like where you place it in the store to get the most bang for your buck. All right, so what exactly is the distribution? Basically, the channel of distribution is the path a product takes from the producer to the final user.
What? With the path of.
So number 2, the channel of distribution is the path
Oh, channel.
that the product takes from producer to final user. And that can be long or short. If it's direct,
What?
number 2.
The channel of distribution. Oh, I see. Is the path.
So it can be short, it can be like the farmer who goes and sells at the farmer's market. He grows the lettuce and the cabbage and all the apples and oranges and everything in his own backyard, and he goes straight to the farmer's market to sell it. Or If he's a large farmer, he might have it, and then he sells it to a food buyer who takes it to a wholesaler, and then somebody from Kroger goes to the wholesaler and picks up the produce that they want, and then they deliver it to Kroger. So you can see the same product can have both a direct and an indirect path. Alright, so there are basically 6 kind of jobs or roles when you're looking at the channel for distribution. The first one would be the producer, the person who makes the product or requires all the raw goods to put it together. Then you have the wholesaler, which is somebody who will go and buy en masse and then store it for you. Then you have an agent or a broker sometimes who goes from the wholesaler and delivers the request from the retailer about how much and make sure it gets there. Then it goes to the retailer. I'm going to be collecting the crossword for a practice grade and checking your notes, so you need to be writing them down. So the retailer is the person who sells it to the consumer. Then we have industrial distribution, which we'll do in just a second. And then the final is the end user, which can either be a consumer user or an industrial user. So there are the 6 kind of jobs or roles that you'll see within the channels of distribution. Everybody ready to move on? Okay, so let's define some terms. Industrial users are basically companies that buy a product from another company and use it for their business. It's also called business-to-business markets. So if you look at this box of Clorox, it's as a homeowner and a mom, if I need this, I go to Walmart and buy it, right, and take it home and use it. That would make me a consumer user. But we use so much here in the school system that the school gets them in mass. So the school system buys it from a supplier of Clorox. That's a business to business. That's short, you'll see it written down B2B or B2C a lot, business to consumer, and then B2B would be business to business. Are you ready to move on? All right, who wants to take a stab at what consumer means? People who use it, yes? Lisa, what were you gonna say?
The person who buys the product.
Yes, it's the person who buys and uses the product. So the buyer and actual user of the product is the consumer. Good? Okay, intermediaries, anybody wanna take a stab at what that is? What, Gabby? Yes, exactly. So intermediaries, I can say it, are channel members that fall between the producer of the product to the end user. They're the people who help move product through that channel. Yeah, that's how it's B2B and B2C. You see that acronym right now. So Gabby was saying, like, can you write on the last slide we were doing, business to business and business to consumer. You'll see that a lot when you're another name for an intermediary. Anybody want to guess?
Intermediate middleman?
Middleman. So the middleman is the person in between the producer and the end user. Okay, and I touched on this in the video. There are two ways that you go about distributing product to your end user: the direct way and the indirect. What would the indirect be? Love it, non-direct way. So the indirect has a middleman or an intermediary involved, and the direct does not. So if you get the concept that direct, no middleman, indirect, middleman, just put that clear in your head and you'll be able to get through, like, see that on the test and understand it. Hearing princess. So when you're doing direct distribution, the intensity is one-on-one to you and the consumer, right? So there's not any way to really think about intensity there, but when you're looking at the indirect distribution, and then this has a lot of words on it. You were back, sorry. Good? Okay. So if you look at the intensity of the distribution, so how focused or diluted it is, if you look at the first, exclusive distribution is used when protected territories for distribution of a product in a given geographical area. So you all know that Leo's dad owns the Dunkin' Donuts, that would be that. It's a franchise and he buys a square mile radius, it's usually how it's done, and then he has exclusive rights to sell Dunkin' Donuts in that radius. They use McDonald's, but since we all know Leo, the Dunkin' Donuts stores. All right, the second one is integrated distribution, and that basically is when the manufacturer also owns and runs its own retail corporation. So Abercrombie makes its own clothes and they sell it at their own store. What else is another place that y'all would think of? Well, Nike does a little bit, but they also sell it in a bunch of different ways. Well, the one I'm thinking of is this too. So Apple is a very integrated distribution pathway where they make all their own Apple products and sell at the Apple stores. They also, though, sell in selective distribution too. And selective distribution is that there's a limited number of outlets in a given area. So the example here is Coach bags, which is a higher end purse, not the highest, but higher end. And they're sold only at like department stores. They also have their own outlet, but the bags they sell at the outlet are usually a different bag. Yes? No. That was not. Alright. I know. Alright, and then the last one we really need to define is intensive distribution. And that's when you have your product sold in all suitable outlets that would, where your product would be purchased. So if you think about like a Coke, you can get it at the vending machine at the Holly, you can get it at Publix, at Kroger's, at the gas station, you can get it when you're checking out at Lowe's, you can get it at movie theaters, you can get it at Five Guys, you can get it anywhere, because they have a very intensive distribution. They want it to be there in front of the person when they're thirsty. Okay, just a couple more. And then e-commerce is when you sell a product through the internet. couple of years, you're gonna take your end of pathway test, and they are gonna talk about e-commerce and e-marketplace. They use that verbiage. I don't know that we really use that commonly in the real world, but that's how they test it, so I want you to connect the two. All right, and the last one, does anybody want to guess what a rack jobber is?
Oh, it's a person who steals something.
We put the stuff on the shelves.
That's it. So what a rack jobber does is they manage the inventory. They make sure that they have the inventory, they restock when they need to, they maintain the store displays. So think about like at the beginning of the school year when you walk in and they have school supplies or something like set up in a school bus, or lots of times like during the Super Bowl, you'll see them come in and they'll have like all the sodas, like a goal post set up, like, you know, they're making a goal post. That's what they do. They also just do the boring stuff, pull it back, check the expiration date, that kind of thing. Okay, so y'all finished writing that. I'm gonna give you the crossword puzzle so you can actually get these vocabulary terms down. I'm gonna collect this at the end of the class period today, and then I'll just come by and check that you did the notes, and these both go in the grade book as a practice. But I can choose to. All right, and so I know when you get these, it's hard to read the numbers on the crossword puzzle, so I'm gonna put it on the.
Yeah.
There's no space, am I missing? I'm short.
You're really bad at work. Yeah, you really are.
It's not hard. We're gonna go make some more.
Yours Your story last night was
Last night.
What? I wonder what happened.
Alright, here's the numbers so you can see better.
Leo.
What's yours? It was literally 30 minutes of him eating.
Oh,
No, he got there and 30 minutes he had already He got there at 11.
Do your parents like
Alright, I'm gonna go make a couple more projects. I'll be right back.
They have like a second actor down there.
Oh. Has he ever like
Yes. I used to visit him all the time. But I was like in the beginning of our
So I didn't get a crossword actually. She's printing them, if y'all could please be more kinder.
Oh, okay.
I'd really
They're right.
Literally, you're like, she don't watch this. She doesn't watch the whole thing, just to see what we're doing. You're the front and center, and you're over there trying to punch Issa's face. It's actually called this. Where's the guy? Wait, actually, like, stop. Because she was like, in the last video, like, some bad things happened at the end. I'm gonna poke your eye out. Yeah, be scared. I made a cat. Oh, I can't really see.
Miss Paula?
I don't have to enter that early.
There's one right there.
Where?
No. Do you not have one?
Thank you.
Look, 8 is literally right there. Okay, but you understand that I messed it up, so shut up. You're being rude. You're being rude about it. It's obvious that I messed it up.
Direct distance.
Oh my gosh, Jackie.
Oh god. Distribution. The path the product takes from the producer to farmer and user.
No, on the ones that have the distribution, the parentheses, you don't use distribution. And like channel of distribution, there's no spaces on the crossword puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to get any space.
Perfect, you're doing great. Creators of producers. Oh. You're already on number 9?
Hey, I heard about UNMS,
Wait, what's the one that's also known as the intermediaries? Middleman? Or mailman?
That's intermediate.
What's 8? Goods and services distribution. You're at 8. The product? Is that what you're asking? Producers. Channel members that have been sponsored. Oh, oh wait, actually. No way, that's
You know, when it's lazy, it's crazy.
Done?
Hell, I stretched it.
What? Regular time?
Number 9 is using protected territories. Yeah, that's right. Because it's my mom's. Wait, which way does 9 go? It's both. It's across and down. Is it the same one both ways?
I can definitely see you. I just feel like it's gonna happen.
Oh wait, no, I had it right.
Are we turning it in? The crossword puzzles, yes. I'll leave the notes with you because we'll finish those up tomorrow.
There is no 11 there. Indirect distribution.
You're back.
I've done.
Okay. You're right there.
Yeah, but I have to change that. Did you get this? That sounds great. math this year.
After Gabby gets.
Because bringing geometry. Because you can do that.
No, I didn't.
Dave, give a little bit of paper back.
I didn't think.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's on